1971 to 1974. Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Trawler.
Game 9, Las Vegas at New York Mets. Welcome back, baseball fans. 1971-74 Carryover League, another opening day. We got a game on opening day between Las Vegas, a fictional expansion team, and your New York Mets, who had the best record in the league a year ago, only to lose in the League Championship Series to the Reds, world champions a couple years ago. Vegas has made the playoffs the last 2 years in the Mountain Time Zone division. And today's matchup on opening day, Vegas will send newcomer Jim Lonborg, 14-12 with a 2.83 ERA in 1972. After a kind of a lag in his career, he rebounded to his brilliant self that he was in the mid-60s. Had a great 1972 with Milwaukee. And for the New York Mets, of course, it is Tom Seaver and his brilliant 1971. 20-10 with a .176 ERA in 286 innings. Let's get started from Shea Stadium in New York. The final scores have just come in, and the Mets have just realized that the Cincinnati Reds have lost 3 out of 4 games to the Astros. And so the Mets are happy to hear that news. That was the team that they could not get past a year ago. So now they have a full game lead on them already. Leading off for Las Vegas, with the F9 recalculate, and it'll be Ken Berry. 1-8 for Ken Berry is a base hit for the C-Stealer. Now, this Las Vegas team struggles for an offense. They got to try all the bunts, hits, and runs and things like that they can do to manufacture runs against the great Seaver. Parker's going to hit and run. And the runner advances on a 6. Runner at second base for Tommy Davis, the best hitter on the team. 56 is a K. And with 2 outs, newcomer Mike Anderson thrust into the cleanup spot for a team that really doesn't have a cleanup hitter, so he's doing it today until they figure out who eventually it will be full-time. 68 off Seaver is a walk. 2 on, 2 outs for left fielder Jim Nettles. 57, that is a strikeout. Bottom of 1 here in Shea. Leading off for the Mets, it's Wayne Garrett. 59 is a walk off of Lonborg. Lonborg is tough against righties, has control issues against lefties, and you just saw the problem there walking the leadoff hitter. Cleon Jones, 6'10", third X. Oh, this is a 1E13, and this is what the Vegas team's going to do all year. That's a 5-4-3 double play. The one infield of Vegas, it's 2 batters into the season, they get the first double play. They got the 1E13 A-Rod at third, 1E8 Brinkman at short, 1E5 Parker at first base, Tim Cullen's the second baseman who's a 2, E32. And if you get on first base with less than 2 outs, I hope you can steal a base. In that case, the Mets did not. And batting third, newcomer John Milner. 67 is a fly to left. This game and this whole series, runs are going to be hard to come by. Tim Cullen. 110, grounds a short. A-Rod, the original A-Rod. Relio Rodriguez pops to first, and Ron Hodges, 59, rolls to second. Willie Mays, batting cleanup. 3-8 is going to be a walk. A stealer, yeah, don't stay there. Hodges is the -1 arm, they don't care, he's going to steal. And he's throwing out on a 20. So, even if you'd like to stay at first, intimidated by that infield defense. Ed Kranepool, 4-4, homer, 1-9, fly ball to the rest off of Lonborg, and he gets the solo shot. Some of you might say, well, shoot, if he didn't still get thrown out stealing, that would have been a 2-run homer. And the response is that dice roll only came up after putting a caught stealing into the record, into the field, to generate a recalculation. So he doesn't roll a home run if he doesn't get caught stealing. Solo shot, and the Mets have a 1-0 lead. Lee Lacy, newcomer at second base. 2-6 is a strikeout. And with 2 outs, Steve Marshall. 65, short X, but this is Brinkman, a 1-8. Yeah. Top of the third. Here is ZZ Ed Brinkman, 310. Is a walk. Didn't want to do that to the 203 hitter, Seaver, as this team is challenged at the plate. Ken Berry, 39, is a fly ball left. Wes Parker, does he do a hit and run with 1 out with Brinkman? No, not with Brinkman. Wes Parker, 2-9, is a 3-6-3 double play. Bottom of the third, it's Bud Harrelson. 4-4, here we go again. 1-9 off Lomborg for a homer. Of course, he does not have power, so that's going to be a single on a 5. A stealer, so you got a hit and run or steal here. He's going to hit and run. Jerry Grody will do a hit and run this time. 4 is rolled, so the runner advances on the ground ball. So you got a runner at second for Wayne Garrett. 1-7 for Garrett is a walk. Good news, bad news. That sets up a double play. Runners at first and second and 1 out. And it's Cleon Jones. 35 for Cleon is singled out. The bases are loaded. They are going to play it back, hoping for a double play with John Milner up. 5-11. Look out. Pitcher X. One infielder that we don't know anything about. It's Lomborg. E19. This will score at least 1 run. Unless they get the double play. But they get an error because he's an E8, and on this rule for the home team, if the E rating gives an error and your E rating is worse than that, you take the error. So Lomborg's a 19. The E rating for an 8 pitcher is an error, so you take the error and save the dice roll. Part of the home field advantage I've been using for years. So the bases are loaded now. The run scores on the error by Lomborg, and the batter's Willie Mays. 1-11 is a hit by the pitch, and the Mets have got a 3rd run. That might be insurmountable. Base is still loaded. Still going to play back for Ed Kranepool. 2-6 Kranepool. Let's take a look at a card. Here's Ed Kranepool's card of 1971. 280 with 14 home runs. He last year, he and Don Clendenon manned first base and the designated hitter spot. They got rid of Clendenon in the offseason, brought in John Miller. Those 2 guys will play first base and DH for the Mets. And that's how the Mets can benefit, because there was no DH in the National League in this era. 2-6 is a single to center field. That will score Cleon Jones. Let's take a look at Milner's speed. He's a 16 runner. Barry's got a 0 arm. He's going to run. And he scores on the 12. That's a 2-run single. And Willie Mays goes to 3rd on the third of the plate. And suddenly it's 5-0 on opening day for the Mets. And things are looking rosy here. Runners on the corners, 1 out. They're going to bring the infield up. They can't afford any more runs here. Lee Lacy. 39, let's take a look at Lee Lacy's card. So, he was a free agent. Plucked off the Dodgers roster in 74. Only had 78 at-bats for the Dodgers, as they had Davey Lopes playing second base. So the Mets swooped in and grabbed him. This would be a nice get for the Mets if they can hold on to him all the way to the early 80s. I don't know if they can hold on to him that long, because he really blooms later in his career when he can play the outfield for the Pirates. But right now, 3-9 is double one, single dot, and the Mets have got it going on here. Runners on the corners with Lacy at first and with Kranepool at third. They're going to keep the infield up for Dave Marshall. 1-6 is a K, and with 2 outs, it's Bud Harrelson who started this big inning. 69 rolls to second base. Well, this is not the role Las Vegas wanted. They are not a big comeback team, as mentioned by their poor offense. They're a team that gets a 1 or 2 run lead and holds on to it. Tommy Davis leading off in the 4th. 68 off Seaver's a walk. Mike Anderson, 47 is a strikeout. Jim Nettles, 55. Short X, and returning the favor defensively in the infield is Bud Harrelson, a 1-17 shortstop, and that's a 6-4-3 double play. Oh boy, Mets giving Vegas a lesson on defense here. Jerry Grody leading off in the 4th. 4-4. 4-4. Homer 1-19 if you have power, but he does not. It's a single. So the great story of Jim Lomborg finally getting into my league after being out of it for 3 years is not going over very well on opening day. Little nerves, little rust, that kind of thing. Wayne Garrett, 57, second X. This should be, well, he's a 2E32 at second base. And that is a single off an infielder, the only infielder you can get a hit off of. So ever since that first inning double play by A-Rod, the defense has let down the Vegas team. Cleon Jones, 1-4, left. John Milner, 47, base hit in the center field. Grody will hold. The bases are loaded with 1 out for Willie Mays. They'll play back. 57's a K, and with 2 outs, it's Ed Craningpool. 68 is a pop to third, and they leave them loaded and keep Lomborg in the game for another inning. It's 6-0. Top of the 5th. Tim Cullen. 39's a base hit. A-Rod. 2-10 for A-Rod. Double 1-3. Base hit, ... is the base hit, ... There are runners in the corners. Seaver doesn't care too much about the shutout with a 6-0 lead. They'll play the infield back. Ron Hodges, former Met, 39. Right B question mark. This is Tim Cullen. A 12, 13, 14 against the 0 arm. He's going to try and score on a sac fly. They got to try. They got to be risky here. They're down 6, and he scores on a 9, and that is a sac fly, and it's 6-1. Ed Brinkman. 2-7, single 1-3, and he lines out with 2 outs. It'll be Ken Berry. 45 off Seaver is another strikeout. Seaver has 1, 2, 3, 4 strikeouts in 5 innings. Let's go to the bottom of the 5th. First, pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
Okay, bottom of the 5th. It is Lee Lacy. 39. Saw the card earlier. Double 1 base hit. C. Steeler. Dave Marshall. 1-8 for Marshall is a 6-4-3 double play on his own card. With 2 outs, Bud Harrelson. 45. They're denting Lomborg's card. Triple 1 base hit. He's going to try and steal with 2 outs, and he's in there on a 2. The T rating of Hodges is 6, and he gets it. So he ends up on third base after the ball goes into center field. And it's Jerry Grody to the max. 6-11, pitcher X. Again, the 2E19 pitcher who made an error. And look at this, the same scenario. 8 E rating was defaulted in there, and it's an error, and he's not an 8. He's worse than it. He's an E19, so that's an error. Another error on Lomborg. What a inauspicious debut here. That will score Harrelson from third. It's 7-1. Wayne Garrett. 58 is a strikeout. The Mets will get Garrett out of third base. He's a liability defensively. They'll put Gil Gallardo over at third base. And that'll be it defensively for the Mets. We go to the 6th. Seaver seemingly has the opening day victory sewed up here. Wes Parker, 58, strikeout. Tommy Davis, 411, left X. This is your 2E6. Cleon Jones makes the catch. And Mike Anderson, 1-5. Oh, let's take a look at this card. So, yeah, this guy's batting cleanup. Now, it'd be great if it was a lefty out there, but it's a righty. So on this 1-5, it's homer on a 1, fly ball the rest. Anderson, it's 254 with this card. He's a nice player, really. Nice platoon player, particularly. Fantastic defense. Just not really cut out to be a cleanup hitter for a team, and that's what the role he's in. And he misses the home run naturally. And that's that. Bottom of the 6th for Lomborg. Opening day, we'll stretch him out to the 6 innings. Don't want to tax the bullpen this early in the season. Cleon Jones, 2-4, skies the center. John Milner, 2-6, rolls to short. And Willie Mays, 2-5, is a strikeout. And the Mets obliged by keeping Lomborg around. We go to the 7th. Jim Nettles. 57's a strikeout. Tim Cullen, 6'10", second X. The second baseman is good defensively. This is, oh, he's okay. Lee Lacy's a 3.26. And that's a GBA. With 2 outs, it's A-Rod. 111 flies to right field. Stretch time here in Shea Stadium. We are enjoying 1972 Lou Reed's first album. I can't stand it, Lisa says. Right into the Sun, Ocean. Big record for Lou. The Egg record, often noted as, yeah. And let's go to the bottom of the 7th. Lomborg, we can give him the rest of the afternoon off. And we'll get a couple of relievers in here for an inning or so. In the 7th, they'll bring Roger Hambright in to pitch the 7th inning for the Vegas squad. He will face Ed Kranepool. 66 is a home run off the Hambright card. Oh boy, he's got homers on 5 and 6 on the pitcher's card. And an 18 on 4-8. Man, I don't know why this guy's still, well, he's good against righties, I guess. Anyway, that is gone. Kranepool launches that a mile, and it's 8-1 Mets. You could tell this Mets team is ticked off about how last year ended. They had to go coast to coast because they won every series they played in, and as soon as the playoffs started, you can't lose, or your season's over. And they lost. They lost in the League Championship Series, so they wasted the coast to coast. It's hard to do, folks. You don't want to go coast to coast. You want to kind of start out slow, then catch fire right when the playoffs start. That didn't happen. While we're talking about, while Ed Kranepool still rounds the bases here. Okay. Lee Lacy, 39. For the 3rd consecutive roll, a 3-9 on the Lacy card, again, is still double one, single dot dot. Dave Marshall, 410. Center X, but I don't have to roll because Ken Berry's a 1-0 in center field. You're out. That's what good Vegas' defense is. A 1-0 in center. They got a 1-7 in right and a 2-7 in left. They have the best defense in the sport. The question remains, will they be able to score enough runs? And they can't afford to blow, big innings like this and have your pitchers make errors. Actually, let's look at the E ratings of the Vegas starters. Lomborg's a 19, but there's Ken Brett as a 0. Blue Moon Odom's 38. That's not going to work. Bray Culp's an 18. The closer, Roland's a 0, and this Hambright's a 0. York's a 15, and Fryman's a 6. So that's okay. It's nothing spectacular. Mets have 3 pitchers who are E0s. So, yeah. Anyway. Bud Harrelson, 2-8. Is a fly ball to right. And with 2 outs, Jerry Grody, 1-5. Single 1-19 gets a base hit. 2 on, 2 outs for Gil Gallardo. Off-season acquisition. 2-4, short. All right, you know what? Tom Seaver, he doesn't have a shutout. We're going to let him sit, get some relaxation time in here. And the Mets have a rookie they like to get some work in. They're going to have rookie Harry Parker. 1973, Harry Parker, 8-4 with a 3.34 ERA in 97 innings. He gets the much sought-after 8th best pitcher on the Mets roster, the long man behind McGraw, Acosta, and Frisella. And he just wants to play. Probably will be the least used pitcher in the entire carryover league, as the Mets pretty much can go through an entire season with like 6 pitchers. All right, Harry Parker against Ron Hodges in the 8th. 54, flies to left. Ed Brinkman, 410, pops to first. And Ken Berry. 43, first X. First baseman is Kranepool. He's a 3-3, and he makes the play. Bottom of the 8th, we'll substitute another pitcher in here. Let's go Woody Fryman in the 8th inning, just to get on a show. So the very unselfish Woody Fryman was a starter 8 for this team, with his brilliant 72 Tiger card, 10-3, 205 ERA, 114 innings. But he was asked to go to the bullpen to make room for Jim Lonborg, and to give this team a strong bullpen and starting pitcher who can pitch 200 innings, something Fryman could not do. So that was the nice gesture on Fryman's part to agree to go to the Vegas pen. And he will face Cleon Jones, leading off in the 8th. 2-5, rolls a short. Let's get a pinch hitter in here. John Milner's up, but let's rotate the bench a little bit. And let's get a new player in here. Batting for Milner, nice acquisition. Bobby Darwin, picked up off the Twins with a nice 1972. The only reason he's available is that Tony Oliva is extending his stay in Minnesota. And the Mets are the beneficiaries, getting a really nice twin, big brawny slugger to play right field. 550 plate appearances, 22 homers, and a 267 average for Bobby Darwin. He actually will also go into right field with Marshall moving to DH. The pitch to Bobby Darwin. 47 off Fryman is a single. Now you got Willie Mays. 210 for Mays, flies to left. And with 2 outs, it's going to be Cranepool. 38 pops to second base. We'll go to the 9th. With the big lead, let's leave old Harry Parker in there. He's not going to... I don't really fear overworking Harry Parker because I don't want to overwork McGraw, Costa, and Brazella. That's the best of the Mets in the pen. Wes Parker, 211, lines to first. Tommy Davis, 1-9's a single. He goes to second without a throw. Mike Anderson, 6'10", third X. The new third baseman, Gerardo, is a 3-12. That's a ground ball C. Vernon goes to third with 2 outs for Jim Nettles. 1-9 pops to second base, and there's your opening day win for the New York Mets. It is an 8-1 final. Uncharacteristically, Vegas can blame their defense, particularly that pitcher's X that ruined the 3rd inning there, and another pitcher X that ruined the 5th inning. If those are double plays, you have a different ball game, but bad news for Vegas. Harry Parker in relief, give up a hit. Seaver only had to go 7 innings, took the afternoon off, 3 hits, a run, it was earned, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. Woody Fryman, a hit, and Hambright, 3 hits and a run. And for Lonborg, not the greatest opening day, 10 hits, 7 runs. Now how many are earned here? Maybe none. We'll call that 1, 2, 3 are earned. 4 walks and 5 strikeouts. 1009, 0108, 814, 14, 814, 14, 36, 45, or 536. Vegas only put 7 men on base, and the Mets put 18 on base in a convincing win. And that is your opening day. We are 9 games into the season. Take a peek and see what the year-to-date numbers look like. For the entire league, at least. That might be interesting. Through just the opening 9 games. 157 innings. The league is hitting .264 with a .320 ERA. That's very respectable numbers on both sides of that. All right, we'll show you the rest of the series results at the end of the video. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Well, baseball fans, here's that box score from the game 1 you just saw. The Mets winning 8-1 in Shea Stadium opening day for Tom Seaver. Going 7 innings, all he had to do to get the relatively easy win for the Mets. So what happens after that? What would happen in game number 2 of this series? Well, the Mets make it kind of look easy here. Jon Matlack, who is just pitching out of his mind ever since he was drafted with a 72 Rookie of the Year card. Helped the Mets win the World Series 2 years ago. He's just been on a roll, and this guy just doesn't get blown out. And he's been out pitching Jerry Koosman on his own team for the last few years. And he's been moved up from 3 to 2, Koosman from 2 to 3. So what does Matlack do today? 9 innings, 5 hits, a walk, 6 strikeouts, 2-0 complete game, a Jerry Grody solo home run, messing up a pretty good start by Ken Brett in Las Vegas. Brett went 7 innings, 6 hits, just the 2 runs, but loses 2-0. Vegas can't get anything going with that offense. They're going to have to switch up stuff when the series goes to Las Vegas. Game 3. Jerry Koosman on the road against Blue Moon Odom. Right out of the blocks, the Mets want a sweep. Wayne Garrett single, John Milner single, a walk to Willie Mays. A 2-run double by Ed Kranepool. A 2-run double by super hot Lee Lacy, who was really showing up. They had Ted Martinez playing second base a year ago, but man, Lee Lacy is tearing it up for the Mets this year. But the lowly Las Vegas team finally gets an offense going. Double by Ken Berry, RBI single Wes Parker. A guy gets thrown out on the bases after a single, and then a double play ball. So it's 4-1. Bottom of the second, a double, a single, sac fly, and a double. It's 4-3. Bottom of the fifth, a walk, doubles, and a 2-run single. And the Vegas squad has taken a 5-4 lead. Jerry Koosman blows a 4-0 lead. It would stay that way into the ninth. It is a 1-run game. Blue Moon Odom's final line, 7 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs. Koosman, 7 innings, 9 hits, 5 runs. But in the ninth, with 2 down to their last out, down by a run, you get a walk to Gil Gerardo, and then Cleon Jones, a 2-out triple off of the Jim York card. York only has 2 hits on this entire card. That was one of them. Ties the game, and then you get the dreaded pass ball and foul out to let that runner from third score, and the Mets have a 6-5 lead, and you think this is over. It looks like a 3-game sweep because the Mets are going to bring in Tug McGraw to pitch the bottom of the ninth inning. Tug McGraw needs to get 3 outs with a one-run lead in the bottom of the ninth for a sweep. He gets Juan Benitez to fly out. He gives up a single to Aurelio Rodriguez, who is 222. Tim Cullen gets a double on his card. Runners hold at second and third. The infield comes up, and then this is where it gets interesting. The right-handed batter, Ed Brinkman, is pulled for the left-handed batting Jim Nettles. So they go lefty-lefty off McGraw, who's better against righties. Nettles rolls fly ball C off the pitcher card, and by the way, a right-handed batter would have been fly ball B and a game-tying sac fly. Not a big deal because Vegas isn't done yet. With the righty Ken Berry up, they bring in another left-handed pinch hitter, former Met Ron Hodges, against McGraw. He gets an RBI single to tie the game, and then Wes Parker delivers a double to win the game. And the Vegas team wins at home in Game 3. In the ninth inning, Tug McGraw gives up 4 hits and 2 runs in 2/3 of an inning. A very uncharacteristic failure by Tug McGraw. Vegas gets their first win of the year. They're not done yet. In Game 4, trying to even this thing up. Oh boy, we have Gary Gentry versus Ray Culp. And the BS meter was pretty heavy in this game. Early on, Tommy Davis rolls that dreaded designated hitter injury 612 nonsense that injures the pitcher. So what I do is, when it happens in the first inning, I just let the point of weakness dot become a single in that situation and try and nurse my pitcher through 4 innings. Second inning, they get a point of weakness single off of Gentry. Top of the third inning, the Mets unload on Ray Culp. Double, single, and a double, and it's 4-0, and again, the Mets are in control. Bottom of the third, point of weakness single off the Gentry card, a double. Point of weakness single off the Gentry card again, it's 4-2. Bottom of the fourth, a point of weakness single off the Gentry card, that is 3 or 4 of them, I lose track. Just because of an injury that Tommy Davis rolled in the first inning. Otherwise, Gentry would be throwing a shutout. But runners are all over the place. Then a ground ball to Jerry Grody. Ground ball to Bud Harrelson. He would kick the ground ball. A ground ball to Wayne Garrett. He would kick the ground ball. And another gift run to Vegas. We get Gentry through 4 innings in a batter. We bring Harry Parker in. It's more nonsense. We get a 2-base error for Cleon Jones in this one. And this game's a complete and total joke that Las Vegas would win 7-4 to tie the series. Ray Culp, 7 innings, 9 hits, 4 runs. Jim Rowland gets the save. and a very forgettable day for the Mets. They could not put Las Vegas away on the road, so Game 5 back in Shea with the Mets tail between their legs. They want to win the series. Back to Game 1 starters, Jim Lonborg, Tom Seaver. And now suddenly it is Vegas's defense that takes a crap in the bottom of the second inning. Bottom of the first, Cleon Jones gets thrown out on the bases. Bottom of the second, an error by normally reliable Kubiak. A walk to Harrelson, a single by Grody. Then you get a dreaded bases loaded walk, and then an error by the second baseman Kubiak. And it's suddenly 3-0. The Vegas gets a couple in the top half of the third to make off a Seaver to make it 3-2. One of those singles was off of Wayne Garrett playing third base. It stays 3-2. Mets add a run in the 7th inning off of Lonborg. Jim Lonborg, who got knocked around on opening day, did pretty well today. He went 6 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs. None were earned. By the way, Ed Brinkman, the 1-8 shortstop, made a 2-base error in this game. So the defenses have just been victimized, even though they're some of the best defense in the entire Strat-O-Matic League. But Tom Seaver says, enough. Enough of this. I don't need a bullpen. Just leave me alone. Let me dust these clowns. And Tom Seaver wins 4-2 in Game 5. 9 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs. But here's the big part of this. 1 walk, 12 strikeouts for terrific Tom and your New York Mets. And the home team won every game. The Mets win the series 3-2. And thanks for checking this out. And we'll see you next time.